Welcome back to the West Ham fans Premier League Roundup. We talk about every other team in the Premier League, and yeah, we're gonna go through the games again. And let's talk about Chelsea Luton first, because nobody cares about that game. Um, Chelsea Luton. You expect Chelsea to beat Luton 3-0, and Luton went bad up until Chelsea's first goal. It took Caicedo a bit to get into the game. They're still going with Ben Chilwell at left wing, which is kind of hindering the whole attack. But Raheem Sterling with a brilliant goal, by the way, that was vintage Raheem Sterling. And I've always said Raheem Sterling's way better off the right than he is off the left because he's more decisive. And he played his best days at City, arguably on the right. And he could definitely cut in and whip balls into the back of the net. But him down the right hand side is just like defenders' legs are going everywhere. And I think he's been a bright spark for the past three games. Let's be honest, because even in pre-season, Chelsea fans were losing a bit of patience with him. But at the end of the day, he wasn't even bad against Liverpool. He was taking up positions that was causing Roberts some problems. He was good against us, even though they lost. He was good. He was very good against us. He was arguably up there with man of the match in general for the whole game. And in the Luton game, it's cash money for him because it's like this guy's an experienced guy. He's come up against so many good, great fullbacks. He's always obviously going to cook against Luton. And I'm going to stop using the word cook because I'm kind of sick of people even saying it. But if we're looking at the other scorers, I don't even remember the other goals. Oh, yes, the Enzo Fernandez ball for one of the goals was fucking sensational. The guy kicked it up and just smacked it. And it was accurate. He didn't just smack it for the hell of it. It was pinpoint accuracy. And who would have thought Enzo Fernandez playing further forward, you get the best out of him? They played him DM just to shoehorn him in that last year because they didn't have a DM, which was interesting. But listen, Chelsea beat Luton. You expect that, and after that, Luton dipped a lot. But I would say with their wing backs, Luton, they need to work on their crossing a lot. And I say that because they were doing quite well. The two strikers were doing quite well. Adebayo and Morris, and I watched them a bit last season in the Championship, and I thought they played really well. But Issa Kabor and Ryan Giles weren't crossing the ball good enough. Ross Barkley wasn't bad as well either, and we struggled to see where the point could come from, and they could probably beat us on Friday, because their first game at Kenilworth Road in the Premier League. But you struggle to see in general where the points are coming from when it comes to Luton. It'll be interesting to see how them face Sheffield United, whatever they face. It'll be interesting to see how they face off and how the three promoted teams will face off when they play against each other. Yeah, the main games, the other two like big games we should be talking about is Bournemouth Tottenham and Liverpool Newcastle. Let's start with Liverpool Newcastle. Liverpool Newcastle was an interesting one because I thought Newcastle. I didn't actually realize how bad Newcastle's record against Liverpool was, but Trent should have been sent off, two yellows. But at the same time, Trent should have got the foul for the first yellow card. And you see Jason Tindall. You're an assistant manager. You're not the main guy. As much as I like the memes, I actually don't mind Jason Tindall. I really like Eddie Howe and Newcastle and what they're doing. But Jason Tindall, you're the assistant manager. I don't ever want to see an assistant manager doing this. And apparently the Klopp one was fake. The when Klopp did this, apparently that was fake. I really wish it was real. Klopp should have Klopp should have knee slided in front of him. I know people wouldn't have liked that, and people would be like, "Oh, it's Jurgen Klopp doing that again." I would have loved that. I would have fucking loved that. It like you should have knee slided in front of Jason Tindall. You should have been going like, "What now?" and caused a whole fight between the coaching staff. And yeah, sorry, I'm just looking at some news that I just saw on my notifications. But yeah, Klopp should have fucking done the most against Jason Tindall. But overall, let's talk about the game. Trent had a howler of a game, fucked up for the mistake. Through a goal, Anthony Gordon scores, former Evertonian. And you think, well, after the Van Dijk red card, which was a red card because he kicks through the man to fucking get the ball. If you kick through the man to get the ball, rather than getting the ball. Do you know what I've always said, yeah? I hate it when it's follow through. So when you get the ball and then you get the man, I've never thought that's a foul. Never in my life thought that was a foul, because if you get the ball, what are they meant to do? It's momentum. But if you go through the man to get the ball, it's bad defending in the first place, which is unlike Van Dijk. I know he hasn't been at his best in the past 2 years, but it's still unlike him. He's not fucking stupid. But it was a stupid decision. Apparently, he's only banned for one game anyway. And maybe Joe Gomez will step up, which Joe Gomez did quite well. And the youngster, I think it was Kwanzaa, that came on. I don't know who the guy's name. Let me actually look. I've got the lineups here. What's the guy's name? Yeah, it's Kwanzaa. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but at the same time, the guy did look, as a youngster, when you're coming on as a centre back, as in or in any position in general. If you're a youngster, you're like, just don't do anything wrong. Like, you don't have to like do anything mad. Just don't do anything wrong. And he didn't do anything wrong. So well done to the kid for coming on. And I've seen this as a theme recently, is that every time a team goes down to 10 men, they tend to play better. Apparently, I actually watched the game of the day. Forest got better when they went down to 10 men. Fulham got an equaliser against Arsenal when they went down to 10 men. We got better against Chelsea when went down to 10 men. Arsenal defended the game really well against Crystal Palace when they went down to 10 men. And it's become a bit of a theme recently. I don't know whether that's a coincidence, but you don't really see it much anymore where a team gets better with 10 men, in my opinion. But in the end, Darwin Núñez came absolutely clutch, and he was giving Botman, and like Botman fucked up for the first goal, and then obviously you're coming up against Dan Burn for the second goal, who, by the way, should not be playing for Newcastle still. Newcastle are trying to go to the next level, and people are going to panic because they lost to Man City and Liverpool. I predicted Liverpool to finish second despite their shit transfer business, so we'll see what happens there. They've still not lost a game. And Liverpool still have clinical attackers. So they could easily go on a streak, finish second, whatever. But Núñez came clutch and two beautiful finishes. Pretty much the exact same goal. And Newcastle bottled it. They didn't penetrate enough. And I don't go at Eddie Howe much, but I do think he made a mistake taking off Tonali. And I also think he needs to. I know, like, I think Newcastle have done some very good business. Like, Lewis Hall should be playing instead of Dan Burn when he's fit. And I know Anthony Gordon's not the best on the right, but Almiron hasn't been good for a while. He's very one-dimensional. And he's not going to be good enough, especially in the Champions League for Newcastle. And these are, like, job-inflicting decisions, if that's the right term, that he has to make. And he's the manager that's getting paid. And I think Newcastle will be fine. They'll have a great season, but just bench Almiron. Like, I'm sorry, he's just not good enough anymore. Sorry, excuse me. Bournemouth, Tottenham. Tottenham pretty much, like, outplayed Fulham. Fulham? Did I say Fulham? Bournemouth. Tottenham pretty much outplayed Bournemouth from start to finish. Bournemouth were poor. They're still good. I know they both had new managers, so there's not really an excuse. But Iriola and Postecoglou, I think the difference is that Iriola signed players that are injured, and these are good players, Tyler Adams and Alex Scott. But Postecoglou has done really well to get players that are fucking shit. Some of them, the Eric Dyers in pre-seasons and the Davinson Sanchez's in general and the Richarlison's up front to play good football. And their front three really need to step up because their midfield was amazing on the day. Basuma, Madison, and I was about to say Heung-min Sarr, Pape Mate Sarr. They were all class. They were all brilliant on the day. And they just, like, even when they were under the cosh a bit for the start of the second half, when Bournemouth actually came out of their shell, Tottenham they were clinical, and Kulusevski stepped up with a goal. Madison with an amazing team goal from throughout the midfield. Destiny Doji, is it Doji or Doggy? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Doggy, I'll call him a Doggy. He played really well. Because the funny thing is, he was signed coming into like a Conte thing, because he was like playing wing back at Udinese, and Conte played a wing-back system, so it's like he'll come into next season, Conte will be there, blah, blah, blah. He's coming into a new system where he's playing inverted into the midfield, and he's just keeping it simple. And he's done really well. It's a whole new different role for him. And he's going to be key for Tottenham in the future. I'm not sure if his injury is serious, but apparently he just kicked into the ground and he felt something. But he's very important in their build-up play. I think we're seeing the best of Basuma as well. Shock. He plays an attacking system and he does well. It's almost like it was Conte's fault and not Basuma. But yeah, they outplayed Bournemouth, and the thing is with Bournemouth, I know they've got a lot of players to come back, but I don't say it's some of the basic things like the chances they were creating were cool, good chances, but are you gonna put any of these away? Like I do think they made good signings, and I don't think Bournemouth will be in trouble. I think Bournemouth will be in around a relegation battle, but I don't think they'll get relegated. I think a lot of people, even myself, when I predicted Bournemouth to be relegated, I instantly regretted it because I realised Wolves exist. But I'm actually going to change my predictions after the transfer window ends because I'm not happy with them already. What next game we'll talk about is Arsenal Fulham. Fulham obviously got a red card. Calvin Bassey. Listen, that's not controversial. That's a red as well. A second yellow, whatever. Like he's just been stupid. And Tim Ream got a second yellow last week, so it's almost like Fulham needs to be a bit more disciplined, especially Marco Silva needs to be a bit more disciplined. He's now serving a touchline ban because he's had a yellow card every game. The guy needs to chill out. And when I saw Fulham and Man United go 1-0 up at around the same time, I was like, it's not going to last because they're both away from home. They're at the Emirates and Old Trafford. It's not gonna last, and it didn't last. Nketiah came on and changed the game for them. Him and Fabio Vieira, apparently. I didn't watch the game, I watched the highlights, but that's what people were saying. They got a penalty, and then they scored straight away, 2-1. I was like, yep, game over. All of a sudden, 87th minute, set piece, João Paulinho secures it to make it 2-2. Now, here's the thing. It's not an agenda, guys. Kai Havertz is shit. He's shit. I'm sorry, he's just shit. People just say how it is. He's just shit. I can't believe Mikel Arteta, after going through a title challenge last season, has taken Zinchenko and Gabriel out to put Thomas Partey at right back, Ben White back at centre back, even though he can play centre back well, but he is better at right back. If you saw him at Brighton, he was better in the back three / right back role. To then put Kai Havertz in midfield with Rice and Ødegaard, which it should be Rice, Partey, Ødegaard, and Saka, Trossard, and Martinelli. And fair enough, Trossard deserved to start eventually, and apparently he had a stinker. So Nketiah came on to change the game. But then again, some people said that Nketiah shouldn't have been dropped. But I think Nketiah has proven his worth a bit. I think he wasn't great against Palace, but I'm not sure whether he was should have been guaranteed a start or whatever. Because I don't think he's good enough for Arsenal. But at the same time, he's been causing problems in key moments of the game, so what do I know? We're probably not seeing the best of Saka or Martinelli because of this new system that Arsenal are trying. And Havertz is just not good enough for Arsenal. He doesn't pass well, he doesn't link up well, he doesn't shoot well, he can't win a header just because of his stature. People think he's some aerial demon. He will not offer you anything off the ball. But if you played Rice, Partey, Ødegaard, no one's getting through that. No one's getting through that midfield unless they're Man City. Nobody will be getting through that midfield unless they're Man City if you played Rice and Partey due to their physicality. It is, for me, it's common sense. Well done to Fulham for getting a point away from home as well. And I also don't understand why Arsenal just don't play Emil Smith-Rowe in Kai Havertz's position. Give it a go, man. I think he could do a good job there, but I'm not the manager. But I think Arsenal will probably beat their opponents, Man United, next weekend, who is the next team we're going to talk about. They just about beat a 10-man Nottingham Forest. That's not a penalty, by the way. The reason why I say that is because he literally initiates the contact, Rashford. It is a red card, and apparently, that's why Nottingham Forest played better. And the thing is with this game, Mason Mount injured, Luke Shaw injured, so Dalot comes in because Malacia is also injured, and Ericsson comes in, and it was saving the midfield from last season that made him successful. Even though Ericsson had a dip, let's be honest, Ericsson like dipped off at the back end of last season, and they still need another midfielder. But I don't know whether they're going to sign anyone. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand Man United. I don't know how they get away with. They always get away with it at Old Trafford all the time. Uh, I don't think it was a penalty. And Nottingham Forest, you should do better. I know it's Old Trafford, but you went 2-0 up early on. Just defend properly. Like I don't like it just doesn't sound that hard, and don't do anything stupid. Like I know it's not that much contact, but Joe Worrell still pulled his shorts. So it was a red card. Simple as. But Man United managed to beat a 10-man Nottingham Forest. Well done, Man United. Man. Man United got fixed up because they got Arsenal in the weekend. I don't. People are going to try to hype this up. Arsenal were going to beat them. I know Arsenal were not impressed in any game either, and they didn't impress me against Palace or Forest. But they will beat Man United at home because it's a big game and it's at the Emirates, and they're not going to lose there. They're not going to lose much there. But we will see. We will see. What game next? Now, I still haven't seen the highlights of this game, Burnley Aston Villa, but Matty Cash scored two. And apparently Matty Cash has played more of a wing-back, right winger role, and listen, he got the job done against Burnley. So well done to Unai Emery for winning, and hard start for Vincent Company. Two losses, and they were both at home. Despite investing a lot of money, they've got a lot of work to do, and maybe they might struggle. Maybe they might struggle. Sheffield United, Manchester City. What a game in the end. It started off really shit, but after the penalty, after Erling Haaland actually missed a penalty, the guy's human. And then he manages to score a very normal goal. But that's the positions he always takes up, and it's very hard to mark him, but the marking could have been better. But then again, it is Erling Haaland. He is inevitable. This is what champions do. Manchester City, Kyle Walker forgot which team he was playing for, gave Sheffield United the ball, and they scored with Jaden Bogle. And then Kyle Walker literally redeems himself like a couple of minutes later. They bring Phil Foden on. He miskicks it. Rodri slaps it in top corner. Because Phil Foden, I would like to watch every game. I would like to watch Phil Foden every game, and I think he should start every game. But we know Pep is a weird genius, so you trust him, and no one can doubt really what he does. There's a generational manager, and yeah, they're quite simple really, and they should be beating Sheffield United at home. I expected a closer game, but not because Sheffield United threat, because Sheffield United were going to defend very well behind the ball, and Man City were going to eventually break them down. It's what always happens when Man City faces someone like that. Brentford Crystal Palace, probably one of the most uneventful games, though, or one of the least things to talk about. Like when you're going with a front three of Odsonne Edouard, Jordan Ayew, and Jeffrey Schlupp, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Elise is still not fit. They've got the Jesper Rak-Saki guy who's meant to be good, meant to be an up-and-coming youngster. And yeah, it's not really much to talk about. It's not really going to affect Brentford's season either. They're still unbeaten, technically. 1 win and 2 draws. Not a bad start to the season for Brentford either. But yeah, not really much to talk about there. There is much to talk about on Everton's side, though, because they lost to Wolves. Everton have scored 0 goals, I think. Let me look at the table, actually. Let me look at the table. Where's the table? The table. Everton are bottom of the league, and they have scored goals 4. They've scored 0 goals. They've literally scored 0, because they lost like 4-0 to Aston Villa and 1-0 to Fulham. They've lost 1-0 at home twice. The funny thing is, I had a stream for this game. I was watching this game because both teams were, going through some shit. And it was a very boring game, and then my stream cut off, and then Wolves score. So I pretty much missed the whole fucking goal. But they scored right at the end, and it was probably maybe slightly deserved in the end from Wolves. I think they had just had better attackers. Simple. I don't know why Everton are trying to buy so many left-sided attackers. They need a right winger, and they are quite blatantly missing Dwight McNeil because that was the key guy to helping them survive. And hopefully this Beto guy that they bought from Udinese comes good because listen, they need someone to fill in for Calvert-Lewin, and Dan Juba is not a lone striker. They do not need Silamana, this Silamana dude. They do not need Wilfred Nanto if you've got Dwight McNeil, Alex Iwobi, Jack Harrison, and Dan Juba who can all play off the left. What is going on at Everton? It seems like it's just so negative as well, and I thought they would be a bit more stable under Sean Dyche, but like they just haven't done enough. And it's not a manager's thing either, because as shit as Frank Lampard is as a manager, it's not a manager thing at Everton. It's an owner thing. It's a whole structure thing, and it's quite blatant to see. And I legit don't give a shit about Everton because they haven't suffered in the Premier League, as in they've never got relegated. So I don't really have any sympathy, but it's good. The problems are blatant to see. I feel sorry for their fans, but I don't give a shit that much really. But yeah, make sure to leave a like and subscribe on the channel if you are new. We are on the road to 200 subscribers. Social medias are in the description if you want to follow me. The email for any inquiries. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.